So, it's turtleneck season. I'm not really doing a vlog, but it's more of like, not a vlog. So, a brief introduction. I have never really used an Aeropress and it really does intrigue me. I've been spending 2.5 years for pour-over equipment, and finally, for this certain price range for the Aeropress, I feel like I'm spending too much when it isn't. So I think it's worth the price because there's so many people who think that this piece of equipment really does make good coffee. Some might be wondering what the price of this Aeropress is. Well, I bought it for $34 and it's 2,500, I guess, in Philippine peso, based on the discussion I've made in Facebook and Coffee Home Brewers. And there was also this comment that said that, well, it's a cheaper alternative for an espresso machine because it can produce an espresso-like profile. I agree with that because the machines that I've been looking at are so expensive and I can't afford one. As of the moment, I think I'm considering the roasting machines more than the espresso machines, but I don't know. So I got an Aeropress, and I think hopefully with how we brew it, I think I find it worth it, but I feel like it does. So let's see. By the way, so as I'm vlogging, I'm also waiting for James Hoffman's live stream for his sample, I guess, for the world's largest coffee tasting, like my virtual
okay, in a second.
So there.
And then we're gonna get into some questions.
Yeah, I pretty much did set an alarm for this because, you know, things to get excited about. Well, 2020. This just really makes me happy. Getting into a room filled with people interested in coffee, even if it's just in a virtual way, you know, that's all we can do. So, the random things I find in our house. Thriller night. Yeah, it all came, of course, in a box, and it has an instruction manual. And since I don't know anything about it, and there's so many recipes in the internet on how to use an Aeropress, let's start with the basic. Let's start with what's recommended. So look at this is a joke because I waited out and I realized that the video wasn't on, so I just transferred it and for the aesthetic purposes. I've adjusted the grind already. So you guys, I did quite lie because as I read the instruction manual, it felt like there's a lot of variables that's missing, or that's kind of some things I question, which is wrong because that's why I should have followed it. But no, I went against my decision to follow it. I looked through the internet and looked for how much the beans should weigh and what is the normal temperature they use. So be like me, don't be like me, but there's a recommended grind size for different brewing methods, but I didn't see anything for the Aeropress with the instruction manual of this certain grinder. And I checked the internet and it said that it's more on the salt grind kind of thing. I did start with a certain calibration, and I think this went well. You can't see, of course, but you know, it's like that. So we will then grind the beans. I also realized I didn't wash my Aeropress, and I did have a shoot for this and things were falling apart, so I really had to wash it. What? What? That's it? Okay, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. And the grounds that I just used is that one. Yeah, cleanup is pretty quick. Okay, so we've seen the process. I kind of did mix what I've seen in the internet with what's in the instruction manual. Now I don't have any basis for what I've just done. But let's see if I did produce a good cup of coffee, even if it's just very little. For the record, the beans that I used are good, so got that from Driftaway. It's a Mexico bean. It is strong, and it has a more pronounced flavor. There may be some wrong things with how I just did this with probably, I don't know if I did it wrong with the temperature, or I didn't really expect that I'll have a very little brew with this one because of what the instruction manual had. But that was a quick brew for a delicious cup. I mean, it's not perfect, but it wasn't bad at all for a first brew, I guess. It wasn't. It has its own profile and personality, and it doesn't feel disgusting. And I do feel the notes that was stated in the bag. It was good actually, and strong. Strong in the sense that I'm awake. And I feel like there's energy going through my veins. But yeah, that's very interesting. I will experiment more. Types of coffee that comes from Mexico or Honduras, the classic kinds of coffee, they really go well with cheesecake. And I'm glad I have some cheesecake. So I'm gonna get some cheesecake. So, by the way, I get my cheesecake from Walmart because I'm cheap like that. And before, I really felt that the cheesecake they have is really good. But the last I got a cheesecake and it feels like the crust is different. So, I might as well try something else and not be cheap or something like that. I'm gonna get some of it. Just really cuts through the cheesecake cuts through the acidity of the coffee, and it's chocolatey and it's just really good. If I have the enthusiasm to look for good coffee and food pairings, I'd probably do that, but it's always just in the back of my mind and I'm not acting on it yet, but I will soon. I did post at Coffee Home Brewers. It's a Facebook page, and they talk mainly about coffee. And when I had received this piece of equipment, I did ask why prefer this equipment over other brewing methods when they've tried that? What's the kind of personality they have? So it did end up that there were those people who just prefers it because it's so easy to clean, in which I think it's reasonable enough because it was the fastest cleanup I've ever done for coffee. It wasn't really messy. And there are also those people who would prefer this brewing method depending on what bean they're using and which bean would best suit this type of brewing process. So there's a lot of things that you could really do with an Aeropress. Out of topic, I'm a really huge fan of James Hoffman, and any questions I have, I would go to his channel. If I'd just be in his channel, I'd be curious about something that he'd come up with. And so there were lots of people asking for the Aeropress video from him, but there's just so much that it's hard to probably put it all in one, because there's a lot of recipes with the Aeropress, and they even have an Aeropress competition, which is so cool. Like a competition just for a filter coffee. I think this is still a filter coffee, right? Yeah. So that is so awesome, and that just means that there's a lot of things I can do with the Aeropress, and I'll definitely be watching out for techniques that James Hoffman would recommend, or recipes maybe, but till then I'd be watching out for more videos. So please, if you do have some recipes or any feedback about the Aeropress, if you've used it, please do let me know. Give me some feedback, please. Let's create discussion. I'm very oddly probably new to this. I'd like engaging with coffee people. I just want to know your story. I mean, what is coffee for you? Or why you like it specially made? Or something like that. You know, those things are often forgotten, but they're like the basis for why you're here, right? Why are you watching my channel, even if I'm nobody, right? So I know some people are still here for the Corgi. So let's disturb her sleep. Shiba, I'm sorry. I have to disturb your sleep once again. She's not happy. Sorry, Shiba. Please look at the camera. Okay, she doesn't wanna. But anyways, please comment anything down below. And I'm really glad you guys are here and watching. I hope you have a fabulous day ahead of you and your life. Right? Right. No. This Corgi. Anyways, bye. Thank you again. So, yeah. I think it's a good deal.